Welcome to WagerTalk TV, where I forgot all of my extra outfits today, so you guys have to see me in the same dress. Ralph always likes to comment on that one. I am Kelly Stewart, joined today by Ralph Michaels at CalSportsLV. Have a stat question. You should definitely tweet Ralph. Everybody's been taking advantage of that. And Teddy covers, Teddy_covers on Twitter. Don't tweet Teddy. He's just having a monster college football and NFL year. He doesn't have time for you guys.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, guys. Ohio State laying just 2 touchdowns on the road, total of 66 at Purdue. You guys know which way I'm looking here. Every week I'm trying to find dogs can win outright, and I don't know if Purdue can win this game outright. But those 2 touchdowns look rather appetizing. Teddy, you want to go first?
You know, my first gut reaction is, yeah, look at the Boilers plus the points. Look how much better they're playing, all that. And then you start to look at the matchups, and I don't know the matchups work well. When you think about what happened last week, Minnesota really put together a good game plan against Ohio State. Run the football, shorten the game, and see if we can stay competitive. And it worked for the Gophers. From all indications, that's not what Purdue plans to do. They think that Blau can throw the football against Ohio State's defense. So I expect Purdue to chuck the football around. And maybe they score a couple of touchdowns early on. Absolutely. But when you're throwing the football around, that's going to leave more time for Ohio State and more possessions for Ohio State and Dwayne Haskins, who's been pretty freaking phenomenal so far this season. So even though the gut initial reaction was, yeah, look at Purdue plus. Oh, they're playing so much better. Ohio State's. When you start to look at the matchups, I don't think Purdue defensively has any chance to slow down Ohio State. If Purdue's going to cover, they're going to have to get in the 30s. I don't know if they get there.
It's been a fun bet against Ohio State this past few weeks.
You know, I'm so glad Teddy said that. You know me being Mr. Cleveland, Mr. Ohio State. And finally you're saying something nice about Ohio State.
I never said, what mean did I say about Ohio State?
No, I'm just saying it's nice to hear you say good
I'm
things
usually
about it.
Ohio State's you want me to say some bad things? They're not going to win the national title. I don't think they're going to make the playoff.
Problem, Marco, is you're wrong. Oh, I mean, Teddy, sorry about that. I haven't done videos with Marco in a while, so I have to disagree. I actually like Purdue in this spot, and I didn't mean to interrupt there, but, you know, it's finally fun to disagree with someone on a video. Now, you know, I watched this Ohio State game close, and I think since Joey Bosa went out against TCU, this defense is not the same. And you may not think it's a big deal, but I know it is from a couple guys that follow Ohio State very closely. They are very, very depressed that he left school. He took himself out of school yesterday, and he's going to work on his injury and work to the NFL. So Nick Bosa, is officially done at Ohio State, and that really is a bad thing for the defense. They were hoping he was going to be back for the Michigan game and the playoff run. You look at Ohio State on the road this year, 2 road games. Allowed 511 yards at TCU, allowed 492 yards at Penn State. This is not the same defense. This defense has allowed 457 yards per game the last 3. And I look at Purdue, can they make that next step? Well, beginning this year, they lost 3 games to Northwestern, Eastern Michigan, Missouri by a total of 8 points. That's because they were doing Sindelar and Blau when they were switching quarterbacks and they didn't know who was going to play. Blau's now there. He has a 10-2 ratio. And part of a selling point for me that they finally made the hurdle, well, Purdue going into this season was 4-19 as a home dog. They are 2-0 as a home dog this year, and those are the steps you need to make, learning how to win those games and learning how to cover those games in this situation. I don't like Ohio State's defense, and I'll grab the points.
Let me ask you this, though. Did you just actually compare Purdue's roster with TCU and Penn State?
No.
Because TCU and Penn State have team speed. Purdue, not so much. So to say that Ohio State's defense struggled against those 2 offenses, they might struggle again here. My play is not laying points with the Buckeyes. I think the over is the way to go.
Well, again, they allowed 457 yards against Minnesota, too.
Exactly. You know, it's not an Ohio State defense that we trust right now.
But it's on the road. How bad are they on the road? We don't know. They played 2 good teams, but I just think being on the road is a negative deterrent in this situation again. So
you like the Boilers? I like the over. One of us is going to cash. Maybe we'll both cash.
I was going to say both of you could easily cash.
Honestly,
you talk about Blau chucking the ball downfield into a decent defense, whether or not, obviously Nick's gone, whether or not that really hurts them long term as far as like the morale goes. You start chucking balls into, NFL prospects' hands, you're going to see some scores coming from the defense, which equates to you're over.
I mean, yeah, you look how many DBs have come out of Ohio State first-round picks the last couple years, and, they got Kenny Sheffield, they got a couple more this year again. It's just they become the DB factory. So I agree with that, but without a rush, we see too many 15-yard, middle of the field open passes, and if they have the right offensive scheme against them, I think they could keep it close. I'm not calling for the upset, but again, I'll grab 2 touchdowns
Ohio
at home.
State is one of those very public teams that we see that every single weekend comes Saturday, everybody's rushing to bet Ohio State, which is why I've been kind of betting against them in a few seasons this year. But don't you think someone's going to look at the board and say, oh, I only have to lay 2 touchdowns against Purdue?
The college football marketplace is not affected one iota by any public money. Every public bettor in the world could come in and bet Ohio State, and the number wouldn't move. The only thing that's moving a college football game, even a marquee college football game, is sharp action and big action, and your $20 bettor. The fact that every $20 or $50 bettor will lay the Buckeyes has zero impact on my opinion about this ball game.
Awesome stuff from both guys. Each and every Monday, get daily pick packages for just $9. This includes any 5% best bets, normally priced at $30.